Hi, my name is Rick Bradbury of newtophoto.com, and I'm going to be doing a review of the Pixel King wireless triggers kindly sent over by David Selby of lightingrumors.com. So we'll have a quick look at these units now. We have here a full set. We've got the receiver, which is here on the left hand side, and receiver on the left hand side, transmitter in the middle, and another receiver on the right hand side. They look very similar to each other. The main differences between these two, obviously the transmitter sends a signal, the receivers receive it, but in terms of visual look, we have a metal hot shoe plate on the bottom of the transmitter which mounts onto your camera, and a plastic one on the bottom of the receivers. So that's really the main difference. So what we'll do, we'll have a look at the transmitter first. Okay, here we can see on the front of it we've got LEDs lining up on each side, and these ones refer to which channel that you're currently on, and these which group you are using or shooting when you're running TTL. These are TTL triggers. They will also work as manual triggers as well, but they will do TTL, high speed sync, and all that good stuff also. Looking around on the side, we've got the on-off switch here, okay, which is just a slide up switch, and if I press this button on the side, it actually lights up and tells me what group setting I've currently got set, and the same for the channel button there as well. To change those, you can just press and hold and it starts flashing, and then you can cycle through to change to whichever group or channel that you wish to. As the units go, they're fairly large when you compare them to something like the Cactus V4s, the Yungnu triggers that are out there. Build quality is okay. I've expected something slightly better, but overall not too bad. I wouldn't like to drop any of them, but who would like to drop any wireless triggers really? Now just to show a comparison, what we'll do, we'll have a look at the size of these and the Cactus V4s in a moment. But just looking around these units, we can see on the side you've got a PC sync, which is a traditional PC sync port, not a 3.5mm jack. Personally I think that's a mistake. But that's what they've fitted onto it, and a mini USB jack where you can plug a cable in to update firmware. Now whether they'll use this with a software application that you can download or comes with the retail package, I don't know. You may be able to change current default settings if they have such a package. I hope so, because currently when you set these up it defaults to TTL high speed sync every single time. It may just be these units, we don't know yet. These are the Canon units, by the way. They are making some for Nikon as well. So just a comparison in size, I'll just remove this transmitter out of shot at the moment, and we'll bring in first the transmitter of the Cactus V4s, and a bit of a difference in size. Okay, so it is larger on your camera. Now you may well notice as well, as if we have a look at the Pixel King transmitter, it has a hot shoe on the top as well, so you can mount a speed light on there, and it's also transmits TTL pass-through as well, should you wish to. Okay, now the wireless receivers for the Cactus V4s, I'll just have to hold this one up, is about that size, so not a massive difference, but they are a little bit bigger. Okay, and you notice on the Cactus V4s you've got the 3.5mm jack instead there. Biggest downfall with these, what I've noticed so far, I have done a little bit of shooting with them, but not a lot of it. I'll be doing some more. But every single time that I remove this from the top of the camera, okay, you get this battery door. It's so easy to open up or knock off, and it's ended up on the floor many a times. And I think it's one of the main flaws on it. The battery doors on the Cactus V4s were rubbish as well, and it's something that I think that they need to look at. Powered by two AA batteries, you can see there, so fairly straightforward. Most people will have those in their flash guns anyway, but overall not too bad. One thing that I am going to note at this stage is on my particular camera that I'm using it with, which is a Canon 500D or T1i, Kiss X3 maybe known as, I have to back the receiver off a little bit on the hot shoe just to make sure it gets a good contact. We've used it on also a Canon 7D, straight on, no problems at all. But it's just worth noting. Now I don't know whether that's an issue with my camera hot shoe or something with these particular units. Unlikely, because it's worked fine on the 7D, but I just wanted to note that. So we'll have a closer look at the features and how these work over the rest of the video. Okay, and here we are with pretty much the whole layout of the kit that we're going to be using with the triggers. Canon EOS 7D that you can see in the background, a 500D which is currently recording this video as well, a Canon 430 EX2 speedlight and a 430 EX, or first generation, and we also have some I can never say that, YN460s to work with them as well, which is just going to be completely manual. I'm going to look to see if I can get hold of a 580 EX2 as well. But for now, this is what we're going to be looking at. It's quite interesting actually looking at the different capabilities of the triggers, comparing it to the 430 EX2 and the 430 EX. There's certain things which you can and can't do when you're using an older generation of flash, so we'll look into those as well. But what we'll do now is we'll have a look at the menu systems in the 7D alongside a 430 EX2 mounted on one of the triggers. Okay, and here we are with the Canon 7D and the 430 EX2 using the Pixel King triggers. Just to have a run through some of the menus that you can get into. Now you'll notice that the flash is on ETTL at the moment, high speed sync. That's the default that it goes to when you turn these triggers on every single time. I'm hoping that you'll be able to change that with the software if it comes with some in the retail package. So we'll have a look at the menu. If we go into the flash control menu, so we'll go up and external flash, you can see there it's in ETTL, so I'm going to change that now to manual, and the flash has now changed mode to manual, and we'll take high speed sync off, go to first curtain, there we go. So this is handy if you've got the speedlight in a modifier, something like the Westcott Apollo softboxes for example, where they're enclosed. It saves you walking over there or having to open up your Westcott and reach your hand in and change the settings. Yeah, if we go down to the zoom, we can also zoom the flash head as well. So there we go, to 50mm. It will automatically default to auto zoom as well when you first set these up. Okay, now you can also change the flash power, as you can see here. So we'll go up to 1/8 power, and that's also changed that, which is handy again if you're running it inside a modifier and you need to back it off or increase it by 1/3 of a stop or maybe a stop, so that's quite handy as well. Now one thing I have noticed with using the 430 EX, the older generation of speedlights, you get less options in the menus, and I'll show that in a moment. And what we'll just have a quick look at, you've got wireless function menu here, and this is where you can turn on a master flash if you're running say a 580 EX2 or the STE2 Commander, although why you would want one of those when you've got these triggers I don't know, but you can change the channel on these as well, the firing groups, and also of course if you're running multiple receivers and so forth and running different groups, you can change the power output as per those groups and the ratios and so forth as well. I'm limited obviously to what I can show at the moment because we're just running with really one flash, because only one will actually let you change all the options, but the menu certainly is there for you. Okay, now I'll just bring in a 430 EX, so I'll take the EX2 out, bring in the 430 EX. Okay, there he is. Looks the same, but it's not. 430 EX is currently in ETTL. Okay, notice the camera was in manual mode, and if I change it to ETTL, I'll go no. Okay, we'll go back to manual. Nothing is happening at all. It won't work in terms of controlling the power output, what mode the flash is in, or the zoom of the flash head with the older generation EX series flashes. I'm assuming it's the same for the 550, the 580 EX as well, and possibly some of the other third-party flashes that support the Canon TTL system as well in the earlier generation. So you do need to have a second generation speedlight to gain access to all the features and functions. I don't have, unfortunately, a big array of flash guns to test at the moment, so any of the Sigma third-party ones or other manufacturers, but hopefully we'll find out about those at some other point for some other reviewers. Now, just to prove that we're not getting anything at all from this, okay, we just can't change any mode at all. I actually have to do this on the back of the flash, so this would mean walking over to the flash and changing it there. It does still work as a trigger with this flash, no problem. High speed sync still works. It will still fire manually as well. So there is some use of it. Whether these will be worth your investment if you are running older generation of flashes, that's up to you to decide really. Personally, I don't think so. Okay, but that's just a quick look at some of the menu features, and we'll have a further look at these flashes as we go along out in the field. Hi, Robbie here again from New to Photo, and I'm here out in the field going to test the Pixel King TTL wireless triggers. I've got them on the 500D at the moment, and we're using a 430EX2 flash with a receiver on as well. We're just going to do a quick distance test and also the TTL high speed sync in the modifier as well. So first off, we're going to do the distance test, where you can see just behind me we're going to fire the trigger at these different tree or bush lines behind us and going on beyond them up to a bit of a marker we've got up there. The furthest point is approximately 100 meters, which is the reported working range on these, so we'll see how we go. I'm going to stay in this position here shooting the images, and I'll let the video record it as well. I'll have to probably crop some of the images later on because I've only got a 250mm lens, but we'll see what we get there. Now we'll just see what distance these things work at. Okay, we're going to run the distance test now. We've got my friend here, Andy, who's going to walk down that way with the speed light, going to the first tree, second bush, third bush, and then onto one of the further posts. You probably can't see on this video camera, it's a bit limited on focal length, but we'll see if these things fire. So on we go. If you'd like to go to the first tree, please, mate. Now what I'm going to do is try and fill the frame as much as I can. Obviously I can't when he gets really far away. I'll pop those later. Okay, first one, that'll do, mate. We'll see if it fires. 1, 2, 3. Awesome, next one with the pink flower. Great stuff, that's fired, and again. Should get me exercise for the day. These are currently set on TTL at the moment, so not really exposing anything. Awesome, next. Okay, where it's going to go to now is a very end wooden post on another path which is leading off at the moment, which we figure is around about 100 meters, which is the supposed operating distance of these triggers. So we'll see what we get. Awesome, go a little bit further if you can, straight line. So we'll go a little bit beyond that now, and just to see if it's actually going to fire. Come back! And he's going further away. He can actually come back now if he wants, but there we go. So they've reached 100 meters, which is their supposed operating range. So fairly consistent really, even in TTL mode. You could probably go a little bit beyond it, but I mean, you really are going to need a long lens for that. So we'll grab one more, we'll go into the woods. Come back, mate! Now it's even going beyond, it's fired. So a good range really, fairly consistent. I mean, to get a shot of that on a crop body, you're probably going to be looking at a 800mm lens really, and even then you might not be able to fill the frame. But overall, very good range. Okay, here we are with the Pixel King wireless trigger set up on a light stand. One thing to note, if you've got a large umbrella bracket with a large plate, it's a little bit difficult getting that screw, that thumb screw, to lock down. You need to tighten this up quite a bit, but not too much because it's a plastic foot, so you will end up breaking it. If you've got a normal cold shoe which is a little bit narrower, then it'll be a little bit easier. But obviously these things are quite thick, so it's going to sit quite high up in the modifier, which is going to be a Westcott 28-inch softbox. So it's just one thing to note, really. I do have some other umbrella brackets that are better than these. These are a bit rubbish, but they're on loan to somebody at the moment. But it's just worth bearing in mind. Just be careful when you tighten the thing up on a plastic shoe, and obviously it's difficult to get your thumb onto that to unscrew it or tighten it up. Hi everybody, thank you very much for watching the video so far. Just want to do a quick kind of a wrap up really of my thoughts on the Pixel King wireless triggers. This has been recorded a few weeks later. I don't actually have them with me now, they've been sent back to Lighting Rumours. Thank you once again, David, for sending those across. The build quality, as I said in the review, is okay. I thought they'd be a little bit more solid. The battery door is rubbish. Absolute nightmare, it's forever falling off, and that's on the transmitter and the receivers as well. Okay, nothing a bit of gaffer's tape won't solve, but you shouldn't have to do that. All the features worked: high-speed sync, TTL, the full control over the EX2 generation of speed lights, changing flash power. I couldn't really get into or demonstrate ratios because I didn't have a master or multiple generation 2 speed lights, but I'm fairly sure that will all work. But it's nice to be able to change flash power and change settings from manual to TTL, high speed sync, when your flash is 13 foot on a light stand. It's quite handy. Now, I normally run manual flash, like I've said in the review, using Cactus V4s, so I think for me I'll probably stick with triggers like the Cactus V4s or the V5s. I'll be interested to see what these come out at price point wise in comparison to the Pocket Wizard, the TT1 and all the Flex TT5s, whatever they are, or the radio poppers. I would expect that they're a cheaper option and more flexible option than going down the commander mode using a 580EX2, which is what, £300, or an STE2 commander, and then you're limited by line of sight, which the Pixel Kings do away with, being wireless. If you're running older generation speed lights, the EX speed lights, 420, 430, 550 or 580s, whether they're worth it for you, don't know. High speed sync will work, ETTL wireless will work, as will the pass through, but you're not going to have full control wirelessly. You can't change flash power or modes in the flashes, which might be a bit of a deal breaker really for you. I suppose it depends on how you shoot and what you would want to use them for. Like I say, for me, for events, I'll probably still run manual flash, setting flashes off in the corner, and if I do need TTL, I will either bounce from on camera or use a TTL cord. So, but we'll see. Like I say, I'll wait and see what all the reviewers say, see what the price is when these things come out. Overall, very impressed. Besides a couple of these negative points. Actually, one thing I remember what I did say in the review is that these things, when you turn them on default to TTL high speed sync, I'm hoping you can change that, because it's annoying if you shoot a lot of manual flash. It's as soon as you turn them on, it's ETTL high speed sync. I don't want that. So hopefully, with the USB port being there, you can connect them to a computer, update the firmware, and possibly pre-program default settings. But we'll see. So thank you very much for watching. And thank you very much to Lighting Rumours again.